It's been UK policy for decades that Iran can never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Over the weekend, the US removed to alleviate that threat. Now, we need to make sure that the ceasefire holds and seize this opportunity to stabilise the region and get Iran back round the negotiating table with the United States. Ultimately, this is how we will ensure a complete, verifiable and irreversible end to Iran's nuclear programme. And we are using every diplomatic lever to support this effort. I'm in close contact with leaders across the region, and yesterday I spoke to the Emir of Qatar to express our solidarity after Iran's reckless attack on the Al Adaya base. NATO allies have agreed a new defence investment pledge, raising defence and security spending to 5% of GDP by 2035, making NATO stronger, fairer and more lethal than ever. This includes military spending, as well as vital investments in our security and resilience, like protecting our cybersecurity and our energy networks. Allies also agreed that because the threats are constantly evolving, we will review this pledge in 2029. The new national security strategy sets out our plans and priorities across these areas. So under the NATO new definitions, we estimate that we will reach at least 4.1% of GDP in 2027, keeping the British people safe and strengthening our leadership in NATO even further. This summit has sent a decisive message to aggressors, and that must be matched by our commitment to Ukraine. And that's why I've announced this week that the UK is providing hundreds more air defence missiles to protect the Ukrainian people, paid for not by the British taxpayer, but with money from frozen Russian assets. Last year, NATO allies pledged 40 billion euros of military aid for Ukraine. This year, Europe, Canada, and our Indo-Pacific partners will match that 40 billion commitment euros again for 2025. We are no longer just talking about burden sharing, we're delivering it in every area. And now we must seize the opportunity this creates to use this investment as a job-creating machine to renew our country, making working people better off and strengthen our security at the same time. So today, as the latest in a series of new investments, I can announce that we will procure at least 12 F-35A fast jets, and we will make these UK aircraft available to bear nuclear weapons if necessary. Our continuous at-sea deterrent has long been declared to NATO alliance. And with this announcement, we're going further in response to growing nuclear threats. Well, on the question of Ukraine, the position in NATO has not changed, nor has my position changed. In fact, over the last couple of days, I would say in my discussions with leaders, there's been a real resolve that now is the time to push again to get Putin to the table for the unconditional ceasefire. President Zelensky has, for many weeks now, indicated his willingness to go to an unconditional ceasefire. Now is the time for Putin, who's been dragging his heels, to come to the table. And there's been a lot of discussions with other leaders about seizing that moment to push forward on that initiative. Let me take the funding position head on, because we made a commitment in our manifesto to raise defence spending to 2.5% during the course of the Parliament. We then brought that forward to 2027, 2028. And as I did that, I announced where the spending would come from, and it comes from the Overseas Development Aid Fund, not from tax rises. And the same challenge was put to me then that we would have to tax rise, and we didn't. We made the difficult but right decision in relation to that funding. We have a commitment in our manifesto not to raise taxes on working people, and we will keep to that commitment. But it is right that I reiterate that the first duty of the Prime Minister is to keep the country safe, and that is a duty I take extremely seriously. These are volatile times, and I'm really pleased here at NATO that has been the mood of the summit, and this has been a strengthening of NATO, not just numerically with new members coming this time for their second summit, but a stronger NATO and a real sense of resolve and purpose coming out of today.